Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84, and due to some sort of an unfortunate circumstance, I've got the opportunity to make a short video about kiwi fruit flowers and looking at the difference between the male and female ones. These are the kiwi vines that belong to my parents that I've featured several times before, that regularly produce vast quantities of kiwi fruits, and unfortunately about 2 or 3 weeks ago they're growing so big and so heavy right up onto the roof of this building that's a neighbour's building. They're growing so big and so heavy that they completely collapsed off the wall, and I had to remove probably about 80 or 90% of the growth so that they could be pulled up again and rewired to the wall. But it's given me an opportunity, as they've now been massacred so much, just to have a quick look at the flowers so that people could see the difference between male and female flowers if they're interested. Now, my parents probably got these about 35 years ago, and at the time, you can probably see from the size of the trunks how old they are. At the time they were, I think they were either given them or they went and bought them, were told that you did need, with these varieties, you needed a male and a female to have any chance of getting fruits. Now, I can't be sure whether these were known as Actinidia Chinensis at the time or Actinidia Deliciosa, but they are the larger sort of egg-shaped or oval fruit which have the brown hairy skin. These are not the kiwi berries. Now, the male plants, we've got absolutely no name, no idea of the name of the actual variety of, except that it is a male flowering plant, which I'll show you in a minute. The female plant, which appears to have flowers that almost look like hermaphrodite or self-fertile flowers, I believe to be Bruno. I don't think it's Haywood. I think the fruits are too elongated for Haywood, and after sort of doing a study of a few kiwi fruit varieties, I came to the conclusion in the end that it was probably a Bruno, but I wouldn't be 100% sure. Slightly unusual, I suppose, to have a male name on a female plant, but the variety names don't always relate to the sex of the plants. Now, they're also known, or were known, as Chinese gooseberries, hence the name, the Latin name Actinidia Chinensis. So I thought we'd have a close look at the flowers so you could see the difference. If you're looking at a kiwi vine you've got that's flowering, these ones here are, this is off the male plants. They're definitely pure male flowers. There are no stigmas in the middle. All you've got the anthers here, which carry the pollen, and they seem to be very popular with the bees, but there's no female part to the flowers. Now, if we walk over to the other one, which is the one that actually fruits, it's quite interesting. It starts to open flowers a bit later than the other, because these flowers on the face of it look as if they would be self-fertile or hermaphrodites. You can see round the edges of the flower by the petals you've got much shorter stamens than on the male plant over there, but you can clearly see in the middle the female stigma and the embryo kiwi fruit behind it. Now, as far as I can determine, this variety or these plants aren't self-fertile. It may well be that they may well get pollen on these anthers, and the pollen might be fertile for other kiwis, but it doesn't appear to be fertile on itself. And this is a problem with some of these kiwis that have what appear to be self-fertile flowers. They don't pollinate themselves. I've got the same problem with a kiwi berry that I've got at home on my fence that I feature in lots of videos. It does seem to have male the male stamens as well as the female stigma, but the fruit's never set. So I'm going to guess that this variety, the pollen is not self-fertile, it's actually self-sterile, even though it has what appear to be male parts and female parts to the plant. Certainly when the male hasn't flowered, we don't seem to have had any fruit set on it, but now the male does flower very heavily, so we've had very heavy crops. But this plant on this side here is, as you can see, the female. It's still, despite me cutting nearly all of the plant off, it does actually still have quite a lot of flower buds on it, and I suppose it would probably, if these set, it's probably going to end up with about somewhere between 50 and 100 fruits, which is still a fair amount, because it probably produced about 300 or 400 last year, and there's no way they could possibly have eaten them. But I didn't have to cut the male back quite as hard on these sections, so you can see there are loads of male flowers, but they started opening earlier than the females. Seem to be very popular with bumblebees. There are always bumblebees up here. I don't know if you can see, but there's always bumblebees here pollinating these flowers. But I would imagine we will get some fruits this year, because the females are now just starting to open a week or two after the males, but there's plenty of males still to open, so shouldn't be a problem. But I thought that might interest people who are not aware of the differences between the what's definitely a male only variety and the female variety that appears to have both sex organs on the flower, but they don't seem to be self-pollinating on this variety, so it's just as well they had the male one as well. So that's a Chinese gooseberry, or kiwi fruit as it's more commonly known nowadays. I think it might be Actinidia, a variety of Actinidia Chinensis, but in more recent years they've been called Actinidia Deliciosa, so I'm not sure what the variation is between them. But I thought that might interest people who have perhaps got one kiwi vine and don't know if they've got a male or a female or a self-fertile one. If you have the variety Jenny, the flowers seem to be self-fertile, so they have the male and female parts, and the pollen does seem to fertilise their own flowers. So if you've got Jenny, you should be all right and get plenty of fruit. But they don't seem to have male. I don't think there are any vines that have male and female flowers on them. I think they simply have male only flowers, or non-self-fertile flowers with male and female parts. I'm guessing that Jenny's been bred to be self-fertile. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, much appreciate it. Please give me a thumbs up. You can share the video if you think it might be useful to anybody. Please subscribe to my channel, and remember to click on the bell if you'd like updates on this and my other plants. I'll catch up with you all soon. There's Mr. Greedy Bumblebee. Brett out for now.